No. There we go. Okay, Ryan, thank you so much. I'm going to
Oh,
leave it to you.
no, thank you. Thank you so much, Diana. I really appreciate you for one, inviting me on this call and allowing me to come on and share with you guys this morning. When she was telling me that you guys do this every Saturday, I was like, it's so impressive that you do this. I think it's super important. What a way to, either start your week or end your week, however you want to look at it. I'm looking at it as starting your week, right, for next week, right? Getting you set up and prepared for next week. The recognition is great. There's two things really quickly before I jump in this morning. Well, three things really quickly. Amanda said that you're doing yoga this next weekend, and I think I'm coming down with the flu, possibly. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. She made me, they did, I don't know, I think this company's trying to kill me off. Like, I swear when I sweat, and at Director Summit, they're like, oh, come do the 5K. It's wonderful. And then they're like, oh, new leadership experience, all in the same week. Let's do yoga. And I was like, yeah, I get to catch up on beauty sleep because obviously I need it. And Amanda's like, oh, you got to come, you got to come, you got to go. So not only did she make me go to yoga, first time ever, I'm still walking funny, and I don't know if I'm ever going to recover. But then she makes me wear a tutu as well. So it was a interesting experience. So if yoga is happening, I don't know. Yeah, downward dog. It was more like a yelping puppy. But anyway, so there's so first thing. Second thing is you guys were talking about like the event this coming weekend, and it's not because I'm there, like I'm coming because I want to hear the leaders speaking. I've been so impressed by the leadership on this team. I'm coming, I'm bringing my notepad, and I'm going to learn as much as I can this coming weekend. But Jim Rohn always talks about, sometimes like we think about, oh, it's a super Saturday or it's an event, like, I've got such and such thing, I got to wash the car, I haven't bathed the cat in like 6 months, it's a perfect day to do it, like whatever reason, like we can always think of a reason why not to attend an event, right? But Jim Rohn always said that like events and interactions, these calls, experiences, he said, think of your head as a vault, and there's a combination. And the only way that you get to dial that combination is by interaction and events and experiences and learning opportunities. And he said, every time, like even this call, right? Like you're going to turn that dial a little bit, and you never know that one experience or that one event that's going to turn the dial, that's going to unlock your potential to really opening up your greatness. And that's the one thing that I'm a huge believer in, like Passport, new leadership experience, Monations, reunion, these calls, super Saturdays. Like I think it's super important for you to come and be there, and even like bring a guest. If you don't have a guest, still come, right? Like there's just, you never know like when you're going to hear that one thing that's going to really do that. The second thing, and Nicole, we will help you find events near you, right? If there's not events happening, we're going to help you find them either virtually, in person, but reunions for everyone, right? New leadership experience, Director Summit, Monations, like we will help you, Nicole. Okay. So yeah, there's definitely like so for example, in North America, I think there's like 70 some odd events that are happening this weekend. That's Canada and the US, that's happening just this weekend, like today, right? That are not virtual, they're live. So if you're looking, or if you have somebody in some other part of the world, Australia, right? We just had our Summer Lovin' tour that happened down there. Jen and the team are doing amazing things down there. And so yes, we can get you plugged in anywhere. So that was the second thing. Third thing was the importance of $500 a month. And that's really where I want to start today, if I could. Just, I know that I've had the privilege of talking with some of you before, but really what I wanted to share is a little bit about what that $500, well, that's a big head. So let's just go to the slide really quickly and I'll make the ballerina make sense here in a second. But so one of the things that you know, I will be forever grateful to two individuals in my life. We were one of those traditional American families that had a little bit more month than paycheck, and like growing up, and you know, we didn't have a lot. I didn't really know it. My mom and dad did a really great job, but when I was a kid, my dad worked two full-time jobs to keep food on the table, a roof over our head, and do that. And so he was working nights and weekends in a coal mine, and he was working during the day at the post office. And so the only time we really ever seen my dad was when he came home to shower, to eat, or to sleep. Like that was it. Like we never really ever got an opportunity to see him. And there was somebody that didn't judge us based on where we grew up. I grew up in this town of like 300 people. That's counting a few dogs, cats, chickens. But it was like 45 minutes one way to go to high school. Like it literally is this remote town in southeastern Utah. So we didn't have a big circle of influence. There was no such thing as internet. There was no such thing as cell phones. There was no such thing as social media, right? And my mom, you know, didn't have this big education. She didn't have any money. So for all intents and purposes, we really shouldn't have ever had an opportunity to hear about this. And I'm just gonna, sorry, just need to hop out for a second to admit people. But the this individual invited my mom to this opportunity, home-based business. And for that experience, it completely changed my life. Like the second person is my mom that I'll be forever grateful to, because she said yes to an opportunity. And that $500 a month that Diana was talking about here at the beginning was what she was focused on, you know, that $300 to $500 a month, because it was life changing for our family. Because not only now, she never reached the heights of some of the leaders that are on this call, right? But she was able to bring my dad home from one of those full-time jobs. We had him on nights and weekends. We were able to have a little bit of spending money to where we were able to travel and go on vacations and have experiences and create memories and do different things like that. And so my mom taught me, like, if you're willing to dream big enough, work hard enough, anything is possible. And so I want everybody, like, you know, and I think that sometimes we get so caught up into, you know, the $1 million club and the Cadillac and the trips and all of the amazing things that the company has, that sometimes we skip over the fact that everybody needs hope and everybody needs opportunity. And sometimes that, you know, we're so focused on trying to make it to the next payday that we don't even, like, we can't think about the luxuries of life. We can only think about how we're going to cover that next bill. And so we all on this call have the opportunity to bridge that gap between one's dreams and one's reality, as John Maxwell likes to say, and we can close that gap for people. So please don't underestimate that $500 a month and what that means to people. So I really appreciate you starting off with that, Diana. I'll get off my soapbox and we'll jump into the ballerina here. So really quickly, what I would love is for everybody on this call to think about back when you was a child, okay? What did you want to be when you were growing up? Like, did you want to, it never seems silly, Jill, to get that paycheck on Friday. So yes, it's yes, wins, right? But what did you want to be when you were a little girl? Or did you want to be a ballerina? Did you want to be a cowboy or a cowgirl? You know, did you want to be a teacher? Did you want to be an astronaut? Like, what did you want to be when you was a little girl? Like, what was it? What was that one thing? Type it in the message. So I wanted to be a singer or a dentist as a plan B. Love that. Opera singer, Christina. Cool. Figure skater. Awesome. Nicole. Anybody else? Nurse, great. Hairdresser, teacher, princess. You are a princess, Jennifer. Pop star, peach pathologist. Wow, I haven't heard that one in a while. Singer, teacher, yoga instructor. Nice. Amanda, thanks for bringing up that brutal pain. Artist, figure skater, dancer, nurse, figure skater, vet. Now Zumba gold. Nice, cool. All right, missionary, veterinarian. I love that. Okay, so the reason why I start here is you wanted to help people. That's what you're doing, Melanie, right? That's what you're doing. I love your IG, by the way. So what an interior designer. So when you're a child, right? There's nothing that's going to stop you from accomplishing your dream, right? Like you have these like vivid, you can see it, like you're so convicted. Like I love it, like seeing the world through a little child's eyes, because their imagination and their belief and everything is there. It's so real, right? Like it's tangible. Like they can see it, they know that they're going to do it. But the challenge is that when we grow older and as we go through experiences, we have reality, right, that hits us in the face sometimes. And that's John Maxwell's quote, where he says disappointment is the gap between one's dreams and one's reality. As a child, we haven't had disappointment, and so we have that dream. But as we get older, reality and all of those different things happen, and people start to steal our dreams or laugh at us or set lower expectations of ourselves. And so therefore we don't actually grow into what we really want to do. Like we stop doing that, right? Like we stop dreaming. And how sad is that? You know, like for me, when I was a child, I wanted to be Wonder Woman. Now, some of you are laughing. I can see it. Thanks a lot. Jill's not laughing. Thank you, Jill. I appreciate that. But you know, like some people might say, well, Ryan, genetics and you don't have an invisible jet and all of those things, right? But and it's the thing, right? People laugh, right? And that's and I know I'm being funny, but the reality is that people laugh at other people's dreams to the point that we stop dreaming or we stop believing in ourselves. And so today what we're going to really jump into is, this is a quote that I live my life by. You can never rise higher than the expectations that you set for yourself. Expect the very best. I'm a firm believer that every single one of us was born with the seeds of greatness. Every one of us was born with that opportunity to grow into this potential. We just need a place to be able to plant those seeds, to be able to grow into it. And that's really what we're going to talk about today, and how we do that and how we start that. And so because of my mom living her dream and being able to bring my dad and having that experience, that was when I was 8 years old when my mom started. My mom's still collecting a check from that company today, believe it or not. And 100 years later, because I'm 102. But because of that, I've been in 28 countries around the world, seeing tens of thousands of lives change because of what I'm going to talk to you about today. And that's the true success cycle. And so some of you may have heard of this before, some of you may not. And so to me, the success cycle starts like this. It has to start with a dream. Jim Rohn always says that when the why becomes strong enough, the how becomes easy. So dreams lead to goals, right? We have a dream, and then we got to set goals with it. And then we go from goals, and I'm going to go through this relatively fast because we're going to dive into each of these really quickly. So dreams lead to goals, goals lead to action, action leads to results. But what happens is, and I guarantee that all of you fallen into this because it's just human nature and it's the cycle of life, is that dreams, okay? Dreams you start out with this dream, and then you go into goals, and then you go and start putting those goals into action. And then all of a sudden you start getting these results. And guess what? The results aren't necessarily what you want, or you have disappointment, or you have challenges, or you have struggles, or you have all of those things, right? And what happens is that people either they don't go back and change the activity if they don't get the results they want. They go back and change the goals or the dreams. So if you get nothing else out of everything that I say to you today, it's so important for me that each and every one of you understands and believes that you are worth living your dreams. Do not let anybody take that from you. You're worth it. I'm a firm believer that God doesn't put a dream in your heart unless it can be attained. And so I want you to write that down. I want you to believe that. I want you to have a conviction that you are worth living your dreams and accomplishing your dreams. And so dreams lead to goals, goals lead to action, action leads to results. If you're not getting the results you want, you never change the dreams or the goals because that dream is in your heart for a reason. You change the activity until you get the results you want, thus leading you to success. Now, a lot of times people will say, well, what is success? And you know, like, I think there's a lot of different images out there of what success is. And I'm going to go to a fellow Canadian that has, in my opinion, the best definition of success. And this was Michael J. Fox. He once said that success to him is having the ability to say yes more times than having to say no. He wasn't talking about awards. He wasn't talking about the amount of money. He wasn't talking about homes or cars or yachts or vacations. He was saying empowerment for one person to have the ability to say yes more times than having to say no. Think about that in your own life, and the ability that what that does to you when you've wanted to say yes and you had the opportunity to do so, or maybe a time when you wanted to say yes and you couldn't. And so that's why, like, I get so passionate about what that extra $500 a month means to a family, because it opens that opportunity for them to say yes, whereas yesterday they would have had to have said no, right? So success cycle, let's dive into this really quickly. So really quickly, this is interactive, right? So what is a dream? So what is your definition of a dream? Is it, you know, that thing that happened last night, that crazy, like I don't want you to share it if it's super crazy, but what is a dream, right? Like, this is, we got to keep this a family show, so don't share too crazy. But in your mind, what is a dream? What is a dream? Any comments, thoughts on that? No one? What is a dream? What is it? Like, I know it's like, what, like, if somebody walked up to you today and said, what is a dream? How would you describe it? Achieving something you think is out of reach. I love that, Rosetta. Something in my heart that I want, something to reach for, something that is not real. Okay, today, right? A dream is a wish that your heart makes, achieving what you want in life, goals. Dreams are meant to come true. Absolutely. Love that. Okay, so we're going to go into and talk about the differences between dreams and goals, and the why, and all of the different things. So to me, this is something that I love, being able to live life fully. I love that. Something that would make you happy. I love that. So a dream is an inspiring picture of the future that energizes you to do everything you can do to achieve it. Your dream has to be passionate, and we're going to walk through and help you define your dream today. Okay, so, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself, because when the why becomes strong enough, the how becomes easy. So it's super important that you understand. So a dream is the vision. It's the thing that you think about before you go to bed at night. It's the thing that's got to be the first thing you think about in the morning. It's that passion, right? Like, it's that thing, it's that I can visualize, and we'll go through this. The why is the purpose. Okay. The goal is the plan to get to the dream. Okay. And then the action, or the activities that we do, and then we'll measure the results. So the dream is the vision. The why is the purposes that you have to attach to your dream. The goal is the plan. Okay. And then there. So okay. So here's a tough question, right? Do you have a dream today? Do you have a dream? And it's okay to say no, because most people don't. And I'll share some statistics with you. 50% of people have given up on their dream. Of the 50% that haven't given up on their dream, 75% of them have not accomplished their dreams. Okay. Of those same 50%, 95% of them say they get frustrated chasing their dreams. Hands, anybody here, right? Get frustrated chasing our dreams, right? I share this with you not to discourage you, but to say that you're not alone. Okay. There's a quote that lived on my grandmother's wall. And one last bullet point here, and then I'll get into that one. Some of you on here have had success, and some of you have outgrown your dream. And I'm a firm believer that when we do this business correctly, like when we do Monat correctly, that you will outgrow your dreams and you'll have to replace them with bigger, better, stronger goals and dreams. Okay. So the quote that lived on my grandmother's wall, it was entitled Look to This Day. And it says, yesterday's already a dream, tomorrow's only a vision. But each day well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Like, I can't promise you that every one of your yesterdays is going to go according to plan, or that everything's going to fall into place today. But what I can promise you is that every day that you wake up with a vision of hope, every one of your yesterdays will be a dream of happiness. And I promise you that vision of hope is going to be the thing that's going to help you change your life and other people's lives. So let's go in and validate your dreams here really quickly. So what is the meaning behind your dream? Right? Like if my dream is to be debt free, what is the meaning behind it? Like, what's the reason? What's the why? So I saw in here somebody was an Amway baby, and I missed the name. I apologize, but Amway did almost $7 billion last year in total revenue. They're the number one direct sales company. They've been the Melanie. Awesome. I love that. That makes sense. Um, like like they've been the number one direct sales company since 2010 when they surpassed Avon for the first time, doing this 8-step plan. And Melanie will laugh when I say this. Step 1, define your why. Step 2, make a list. Step 3, contact, show the plan, follow up. Like, they have this 8-step plan, right? Which we've I don't want to get bogged down in this, but it's the system, right? But define your why. The more reasons you have for accomplishing your dream, the more likely you're going to have to accomplish your dream. So if my goal or dream, not goal, dream is to be debt free, what does that mean? Does that mean that I no longer have to worry? Does that mean that I no longer have bills? Because there'll always be bills, right? There'll be the cell phone bill, there'll be the power bill, the water bill, the internet bill, like there'll always be bills, right? So does that mean that I have all of my loans paid off? Does that mean that I have my retirement paid off? Does that mean that I have all my future vacations paid off? Like, what does that mean to be debt free? The more reasons you attach to your dream, the more likely you are to achieve it. If your dream is to become an SED, what does that mean? Does that mean that I get to tell my story from stage? Does that mean that I have 50 Cadillac drivers on my team? Like, what does that mean? Like, the more reasons you have to do that. So this is the part that I need you to be brutally honest with yourself. And we're going to write this down. And it's like dissecting it, right? And being specific, Amanda. Like, it's so, like, you have to, like, and it's just like when you're a kid, right? Like my kids are getting older now because I'm super old, but my 8-year-old, my youngest, she, like, I'll sit down. She wants to be a fashion designer. And all she wanted for Christmas was a sewing machine. Like, what 8-year-old kid wants a sewing machine, right? But like, for her, like, she's like sitting down and she's drawing like all of these sketches of these dresses and these outfits and these colors, and like her imagination, like she's not worrying about like the logistics of like, how am I going to get paid? Like, how do I create my own label? Do I go work for somebody else? Like all of those doubts and fears, like, she's not worried about that, right? Like, she's just letting her imagination go. So write these 10 questions down, please, 1 through 10, and we're going to rate them 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. And this is all about you, okay? And the more brutally honest you are, the better it will be, because I really want your homework assignment to be 3 things. 1, I want you, if you don't have a dream, I want you to get one. If you do have a dream, I want you to put it through these 10 questions to make sure that we validate it. And 3, we're going to set goals to align with the dream. Okay. So those are the 3 things that we're going to leave with today. So, hey, ownership. Is my dream really my dream? Okay. If my dream is to be an SED, is that because Diana wants me to be an SED? right? Because if Diane wants it for me, and I'm like, oh, it sounds good, but I don't have the purpose behind it, is it really going to become a reality? And so many people fall into this trap, right? It has to be your dream. Okay, ownership. Two, clarity. Do I see my dream? Can I visualize it? Can I see it? Is it tangible? Is it something that I can have? Right, the clarity. Remember, we're rating these 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. Reality. Am I depending on factors that are within my control? All of you are going to say, well, Ryan wanted to be Wonder Woman. There were factors that were certainly out of his control, right? But it is 2022. Just kidding. Let's not go down that trap. But the reality, am I depending on factors that are in my control? Okay. 4, passion. Does my dream compel me to follow it? Like, am I passionate? Is it like literally like when I talk about passion, like the reason why I get so passionate about here at Monet, like I had a one-on-one with Ray yesterday. I'm actually in Arizona today at an Airbnb. Like Diana was like, "Oh, I love your decor," and I was like, "Yeah, I travel with it. So like, if I put it up in my hotel rooms, and I just travel with it." But anyway, I was on the phone with Ray yesterday on my one-on-one, and we're just talking, and he was like, Dad and I was just talking about how we love how passionate you are about being here. And I kind of got emotional with him. I was like, I was like, I honestly, I was like, I've lost this passion over the last, I'm like, you're getting a different Ryan Anderson than what I've been in the last couple of years, because I'd kind of given up on this industry. And I wasn't really passionate about what I was doing anymore, because I felt like I didn't really like where the industry was going. And my dream, the thing that like makes me so passionate, like I think about it when I wake up in the morning. It's the last thing I think about it before I go to bed at night. I want to change this industry. And Melanie will probably, having grown up in this industry, will probably understand this more than most, is our industry has really shifted over the last 10, 15, 20 years to that of hype, smoke, and mirrors, and not really of what it was created for. And that was to put real value into other people's lives. Like my goal is that if you're with me 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 100 years, no matter how long you're with me, I want you to feel like you got more, like you're better today because of you're better tomorrow because of what we did today. Like, and if that's all we focus on every single day, and pouring into our VIPs and into our market partners and helping them be better, then we win. We win. And that's really what this industry was built on. And I believe that Monet, and I'm sharing you my dream, right? Because I want you guys to really figure out your dream. My dream is I want to change this industry. And I believe that the first company that does that will be the #1 direct sales company in the world. And I believe that there's only one company out there that can do that, and that's Monet. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm so passionate. And so I got emotional with Ray yesterday, because I'm like, I'm fired up, like, because I'm so excited about what we're going to do, what we have done, but more importantly, what we're going to do over the next 3, 5, 10, 15, 100 years from now. We will be the #1 direct sales company. So that's my dream. Okay. Now, my dream can't be your dream. You guys can all contribute to my dream, and you are, but it has to be your dream. Okay. So ownership, #1. But let's go #5. Sorry. So 5, pathway. Do I have a strategy to reach my dream? Like, is there a plan? And we'll get into that when we talk about goal setting. But do I have a pathway? Can I clearly see how to get there? I couldn't see as a child how I was going to get the visible jet, okay, or the truth lasso. I probably figured out how to do the bracelets, the dodged off bullets, but and then the whole woman thing I was going to figure out later. But pathway, do I have a clear strategy to reach my dream? Right? I want to have a team of 6 people. I want to pay off my debt. I want to travel. Right? Those are all things that can contribute to that lifestyle, Amanda, right? Like that's that thing that can do that. I wanted the truth lasso also. Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't that be great today? I want to be proud of myself. Amanda, like you should be absolutely proud of yourself. Like, and we can definitely talk about this. Like, and you're not alone. Like, this is the thing that I think is important. And I'll share a little bit more of my story next weekend, but 80% of the women 18 years and older who look in the mirror don't like what they see. 80%. And I think that is awful. Like, that like breaks my heart, because people like people are born with the seeds of greatness, and every person has the potential and the power within themselves to be great, and every person has a purpose. Every person has a purpose, and that purpose is uniquely different than every other person in this world. And we need all of us to contribute our greatness to change the world. Ronald Reagan once said, if you want to get something done, give somebody a checklist and chances are you'll get it done. But if you want to change the world, give somebody a cause or a purpose. Manda, you should be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. But for you to see that in yourself, find your purpose, find your passion, and chase it every single day, and you'll be proud of yourself. Okay. And like, I think you should be proud of yourself. I'm not saying when. You should do that now. A book that I would love for all of us to read, especially you, Amanda, is a book called The Happiness Advantage by Sean Akers. It is on Audible for those of us that don't want to read. It's there. So, but anyway, we'll do that. Okay. 6, people. Have I included the people I need to realize my dream? Okay. That's what this call is about, right? That's what this team is about. That's what Monade is about, is how we put people in our lives. Have you shared your dream with your significant other? Have you shared it with your family? Have you shared it with your friends? Have you shared it with your team? A lot of times people struggle with this because they don't want to do that. Like, people really don't want to share their dream for fear of people laughing at them, for fear of people, like for fear of failure, right? They don't want to share their dream with somebody because they're worried that somebody's going to steal their, like, tell them they can't do it, right? Or that they won't accomplish it. Number 7, cost. Am I willing to pay the price for my dream? Okay. There's going to be sacrifices. There's going to be things like, you guys all got up, like, we're up at 1 a.m. in Australia, right? Some of you got up at 8 a.m. or got up earlier, right? Or whatever. Like, there's going to be a price. Are you willing to pay the price for you to accomplish your dream? Okay. Number 8, tenacity. Am I moving closer to my dream? Is that, do I have that? Excuse me. Do I have that tenacity to move closer to my dream? 9, fulfillment. Does working towards my dream bring me satisfaction? Okay. Do I feel fulfilled? So yes, do I have that fulfillment inside? Does working towards my dream bring me satisfaction? 10, significance. Does my dream benefit other people? What is the significance of it? I'm going to say here, and we'll jump from dreams to goals here, but if you can answer these 10 questions at a 3 or higher, you're on the road to success. If you're a 1 to 2, we need to go back and visit that dream and really define it and create that clarity. Okay. Be brutally honest, because it all starts here with the dream. And so, okay, I love this one. Whoops, I went too fast. Sorry. A goal without a plan is only a dream. Okay. The dream is the vision. The why is the purpose. The goal is the plan. Okay, so let's jump into the plan so that we can make this work. Okay, so as we jump into this, why goals? Research shows a direct correlation between setting goals and achieving success. Properly setting goals helps trigger new behaviors. Now, this is something, oh, Aaron, did you miss number 10 on the last one? So you got ownership, clarity, reality, passion, pathway, people, cost, tenacity, fulfillment, and significance. And I'll share this deck with anybody. It's it's not proprietary. I'll share it with you guys so you guys can have it there. So, okay, so research shows direct correlation. Now, this is the thing when we start talking about goals. People feel like, hey, sorry, Stephanie, Aaron, we good? Okay, good, awesome, thank you. So properly setting goals, like people feel like, oh, I can still be the same person and set a goal and I'm going to accomplish the goal. There's a book called Change Anything, the science behind human behavior. It's not, when we're talking about goal setting and achieving goals, it has nothing to do with willpower or motivation. There's 6 sources of influence. And what it will talk about is that these 6 sources, you either have them working with you or against you to accomplish your goals or to do this. But the reality is that you have to create new behaviors, okay? New actions, new behaviors in order to accomplish your goals. Because if you already had those behaviors, it probably wouldn't be a goal because you'd already accomplished it. So I want you to make that correlation in that when I set a goal, I'm also creating new behaviors as well. And remember, it's not about just setting a goal, it's about achieving them, okay? So let's jump into 10, right? Do you like the power of 10 today? 10 steps to successful goal setting. Okay, number 1, you have to have SMART goals: specific, measurable, relevant, time bound. Okay, they have to be specific goals. They have to be able to measure them, right? Am I moving closer? And they have to be relevant to your dream, and you have to put a time on them. Okay, so number 2, don't just think them, ink them. You're 8 times more likely to achieve your goals when you write them down. 8 times, right? I like those odds. 3, make goals visible. Write them down. Like I'm in Arizona, I'm on my laptop, but I've got my goals written down on Post-it notes and they're right here on my laptop. Like they're visible, right? Like they're right here with me. They're in my bathroom, they're in my car, they're on my my wife knows my goals. Like it's super important to keep them visible. Okay. Number 4, break it down. How do we eat an elephant? Why do you want to eat an elephant? I don't know. It's just a saying. But how do you eat it? 1 bite at a time, right? So you have the dream, which is not the goal. Okay. The dream is the destination, right? It's the vision. The goal is the plan. So if I'm going to if I'm gonna be debt free, for example, like if my dream is to be debt free, my big goal is to start paying down the debt, right? So I'm going to make a list of all of my debt. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is that's my big goal. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have little goals that's going to tie to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start paying on, like I got to pay all my loans, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the snowball effect, right? So I'm going to pay off the smallest loan first. And then I'm going to take that money that I was paid off my small loan with, and I'm going to take that payment and add it to the next loan payment until I start paying them all off, right? But the little goals is, how do I start putting money away? So maybe I stop going to Tim Hortons or Starbucks, or I start putting like $5 or $10 away, right? To start putting towards that goal. Like that's the little goals, like start doing things. Big goals, little goals lead to big goals, right? So so you got to break them down. 5, develop a plan. How many of you guys have a morning routine? I will tell you that a morning routine, like if you don't get one, if you do, add reviewing your goals into your morning routine. Develop that plan. Okay, every day, what am I going to do? How am I getting closer to my goals or my dreams, right? Add that to your morning routine. 6, take action. We're going to talk more about that here in just a little bit, but setting the goal, putting a time limit on it, big goals, little goals, putting together the plan, making it visible, sharing it, doing all of these things. Unless we put it into action, we're never going to get the results, right? Number 7, keep perspective. And this one is super important as well, because as we keep perspective, what we're doing is we're looking at it from a place of like, okay, don't be hard on yourself. Don't be like super judgmental. Like keep perspective. Life is going to happen. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be obstacles. As long as you keep perspective that that's going to happen, okay, then you can overcome it. It's not going to be something that's going to stop you or stall you, right? Like Mike Tyson always says, everybody has a plan until they've been punched in the face, right? Well, guess what? 2021 was a punch in the face, right? And so do you stop? No, you continue moving forward and you keep that perspective. 8, identify potential obstacles. So, and Jill, like I get it, like putting a date on it is there, but the thing of it is that like this is and we'll get into like accountability. That's number 9 here, is we'll be accountable to everybody else. Like I guarantee you there was people on this call who didn't want to get on this call today, but you told somebody you were going to get on this call today, so you're on this call, right? And the reality is that the one person that you should be the most accountable to is yourself, but we're always more accountable to other people. Putting a time limit on it isn't the part that's going to push you away or scare you. It should scare you, right? Like, because it's that challenge, right? Like it's going to be that. But there's a quote that says that fear knocked at the door, faith answered, and no one was there, because faith and fear cannot exist on the same doorstep. So put a date on it and move forward with faith, and don't be afraid of failure, because hey, if we shoot for the stars and we hit the moon, did we fail? If you're better tomorrow than you were today, did you fail? Right? Like, so don't be hard on yourself. Let's do that. So, all right, be accountable. Potential obstacles. I hope that was there's going to be obstacles, right? There's going to be distractions. There's going to be different things. Won't spend a lot of time on that one. 10, reflect and adjust. Okay, always be reflecting on your goals and adjusting where we're at, where you've come from. Reward yourself along the way. It's super important. That's why, when Diana starts these calls off with recognition, she's doing that because she wants to celebrate with you, but she also wants you to take pride and reward yourself on taking the steps along the way as well. So 10 steps to successful goal setting. Okay, get into action. Okay, so dreams lead to goals, goals lead to action, get into action. So stop, get up, and go do it. Like if you're struggling in any aspect or area of your life, go get into action. Action will turn yourself into a doer. Action will take continuous action. Like action will, like people always ask me, Brian, how do I get momentum in my business? How do I generate momentum in my business? And it's a simple formula. Consistency creates belief. Belief creates action. You don't have belief, it's because you're not consistently creating action. You don't have momentum in your business, it's because you don't have belief. I can always tag or earmark like where people are struggling in their goals or their dreams by going back to the activity. We've defined the why, the dream, right? We've created the dream, put it to the test, put the purpose or the why behind it. Then we set goals, and then we go do the action, and they're not getting closer. We can always see when they're there. So take continuous action, use action to overcome your fear, eliminate the distractions. And yeah, sometimes those are people, right? Sometimes distractions are people. I'm not saying go fit them for cement shoes and dump them in the nearest body of water. I'm saying limit the amount of time or how we do different things to get the distractions out of your life. Okay. Here's some really simple things that I've found. Okay. Adding 2 new contacts every single day to your life and to your business and to your relationships is super important, right? And people are like, well, how do I do that? Like you come in contact, like unless you are, and this used to be funny, but it's not anymore, right? Because of the world that we live in, like unless you're locked in 4 walls and don't have an internet connection or a phone, you can make contact with the outside world, right? Like it's there. So making 2 new contacts every day doesn't mean, hey, I'm sharing Monat or the Monat products with 2 new people every day. It's absolutely not. It's about this business is a relationship business in life. You can't tell me an industry out. I'm in Arizona today because I'm a huge car guy, and there's a classic car auction that's happening here. And so I'm down here dream building. That's what I told my wife. She'll be mad when I drive something home. But the thing is it's everything. Everything isn't necessarily what we know, it's who we know, and it's relationships. So 2 new contacts every single day is super important. This one I think is important. 5 samples. Like, you should always have 5 samples of our products, our life-changing products, out in people's hands all the time that you're following up with. If you just said, okay, like, I have 5 people, it's like you have 5 people out there building your business every day, that's there. So yeah, it's definitely, yeah, Jill, count me in. I'll come anytime there's a car show. 1 3-way call per week. Now, this could be you doing it with somebody on your team. This could be you getting somebody to do it with you, with one of your prospects. But I am telling you, 1 3-way call per week will change your business. Absolutely. You want to become the #1 income earner in Monet? 2 things: build 1 block per month and build 1 MMB per quarter. I was always taught, and I was always brought up into this business to have the mindset that the #1 income earner isn't in the company yet. Do you really want somebody else to recruit that person? And so that always had that sense of urgency, right? Like, it always created that thing. If your goals are money related, and they don't have to be, right? Like, again, it has to be your dreams. But if they are, like, putting 1 block per month and having that focus will change your business. It'll change the trajectory. It'll change everything. And I know that sometimes when we say, well, 1 MMB per quarter, but Ryan, I'm not even an MMB yet. Well, guess what? This quarter, you're going to be that MMB. You're going to be that MMB, and then just become an MMB factory, and it will change. It'll absolutely change your business. And then plug into the tools that we have, right? And Market Partner Academy, Shampoo Dealer, drive your team to new leadership experience, Passport, Reunion. We talked about that at the very beginning, so I won't spend a lot of time here. But use the tools, like the sales, right? The VIP incentive, a Passport. How many of you guys are going to the Bahamas? Like, I hope you guys have all written that down in your goals, right? Jill, come on, I want to see that hand going up, right? Like, let's go to the Bahamas, right? Let's make it happen. And Monations, right? Like, oh my gosh, it's going to be incredible. So, okay, let's really quickly, and I know that we've gone long, and I apologize, Diana, please don't fire me, and please let me come next weekend. But let's jump into really quickly, okay, so we talked about dreams, we talked about goals, we talked about action. Let's talk about results. So there's 2 things I want to cover here. You have to create the action to be able to see results. You're not seeing results, you have to have action. Now, the results aren't always going to be good, right? And so how do we measure that? We measure the results based on having the plan with our goals, and then going out and putting that in action. Are we getting closer to our goals? And if we're not, then we have to change the activity, and we can tweak it and we adjust it. Well, how do we know how to tweak it or adjust it? Calls like this, Super Saturdays, asking people. The one thing that I will tell you is that the reason why I think that Monet will be the #1 direct sales company in the world is because there's such a community here. And Diana, you talked about this in the beginning. There's a community here of people that are willing to share and work and help everybody succeed, right? So if you're not getting the results you want, that's what this community is about. It's this family is being able to plug in and help and find how we can tweak and adjust and train and do different things. And so the other thing I wanted to share, the second point with results is that sometimes, like, if we're like, okay, you got to do a 3-way call, you got to put samples out there, you got to make 2 new contacts. That's part of the actions that I said. And you're like, well, that's not really working for me. That's not helping me move closer to my goals. Then, like, there's a time of, like, how much time do you put towards an activity before you actually go and adjust the activity, right? Sometimes you have to put that in place to be able to make that work. Sometimes you have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to do this for a certain period of time and see if it works or not. Because sometimes, like, if I'm like, go make 2 new contacts every day, and I go and talk to a person and I'm like, hey, will you be my contact? And they're like, no. Oh crap, that didn't work, so I just give up, right? No, like you got to keep going and working on that. So it's definitely to do that. Okay, Jill, we'll see you. Sorry I talked so long. Okay, so really quick recap: success cycle. Dreams lead to goals. Goals lead to action. Action leads to results. We never go back and change the dream or the goal. We only change the action till we get the results that we want, thus leading to success. What is success? Only you can define that success, right? So really quickly, it's just one last thing, and then I'll let you guys go. Have any of you guys ever seen or heard or read the book, The Velveteen Rabbit? Anybody? Some of you are shaking your head, yes, yes. So I am going to preface this because I was in Albany, New York one time, and I shared this story, and I had a very upset teacher come up afterwards, and she's like, "You told that story wrong. That did not happen." I'm like, okay, there's different variations of the story, and this is the story from the movie on Netflix. Okay, The Velveteen Rabbit's a great one, story to read. But anyway, there's this little boy in this story, and his name is Toby, and his mother ends up passing away, and his dad works a ton, and so he takes the little boy to go live with his grandmother, and his grandmother's very she doesn't have a lot of time for Toby. She's more of a socialite and has other stuff. So Toby has this stuffed animal. It's called the Velveteen Rabbit, and they get this friend, and they're this relationship, and they have this different, like they have all of these great adventures, right? Well, what happens is that the Velveteen Rabbit comes to life, right? And it's this imagination that Toby has. Well, there's this one day Toby wants to fly. And so the Velveteen Rabbit and Toby, they're like, we're gonna fly today. And there's all these other characters. There's a swan and a rocking horse, and I think there's a teddy bear. And they're like, you guys can't fly. You're gonna hurt yourself. You're never gonna be able to do that. So Toby and the Velveteen Rabbit, they climb up this tree, and only about halfway, and they walk out there, and all the way while they're climbing, they're like, you can't do that, you're gonna fall, you're gonna hurt yourself, nobody can fly, you're a rabbit, you're just a boy, you can't make money selling shampoo, what are you thinking, that's a pyramid scheme, what are you doing, that's crazy, like just throwing all of these doubts and fears at him, right? Toby and the Velveteen Rabbit, ignorance on fire, they didn't care, they just go out there and they run and they jump and they start flapping their arms, and they fell, right? And they fall into this body of water, and they laugh and they joke, and they're like, but we really want to fly. So this time they climb all the way to the top of the tree. All the while, all the animals are throwing doubts and fears in their head. This time they're at the very top of the tree, and they walk out on the edge of the limb, and they're looking down. This time, Toby, he's scared, right? Toby, he's scared because he's already fallen once. And the Velveteen Rabbit, he looks over to Toby and he says, Toby, do you believe? Toby says, I think so. And the Velveteen Rabbit says, Toby, remember, everything that is real today was first imagined yesterday. And that is so true. Everything that is real today was first imagined yesterday. Man walking on the moon, cell phones, electric cars, driving a Cadillac, being in the $1 Million Club, right? It was first imagined yesterday, okay? Everything that is real today was first imagined yesterday. So then the Velveteen Rabbit looks over at Toby. And he says, Toby, do you believe? Toby says, yeah, I believe. And the Velveteen Rabbit says, Toby, if you'll jump in with all of your heart, the rest of you will follow. And Toby and the Velveteen Rabbit, they jumped and they flew and they had this grandiose adventure. The one thing that I want to tell each and every one of you today, yes, you're worth living your dreams. 2, you can and will, I believe it with every fiber of my being, have success. And I promise you, we can help you get that. The leadership here at Monet is something that I've never seen in my career. You can and will have success. I promise you that. But you have to jump in with all of your heart, and the rest of you will follow. And I'm so excited to be on this journey with each and every one of you. I'm so grateful. And Diana, I'm sorry, I'm super long-winded, but I'm just super excited to be here and be part of this amazing company. And thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. That was so great. You could talk for another hour if you want. Just keep, I'm sure you have nothing else to do, right? Driving cars and all of that. I'm getting like all these texts. People loved it. Thank you so much. It was in the chat's blowing up, and we're just so grateful to have you and for your time to come on our little team and chat with us on your Saturday morning. And it just really means the world to us, and to have you come all the way to Calgary. It's amazing. Are you coming to Road to Success, Ryan, in June?
Yes, I'll be there as well. Yes.
There you go, guys.
That's if Jackie hasn't fired me by then. So yes, I'll be there.
I feel like that probably won't happen. So I think
yeah.
So at the end of our calls, everybody puts their camera on and we kind of like dance. I'm not going to sing. Usually it's like Baby Shark or something, but I put the dancing to better music in the stories. So you're gonna dance to nothing. So I'll get everybody to turn your video on, and then we will do a little video, and then we will say farewell and have a great Saturday. Look at all the faces. See?
I love it.
Isn't that amazing?
I love it. Yes.
All right, you guys ready? Okay, guys, let's do some dancing. Baby shark, do 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 do. Just kidding. I'm not doing it.
Jackie's got it. Jackie's got the Baby Shark.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, great. And I'll send that along. Guys, thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you so much. We will see you on Friday and then Saturday and keep you here forever. But yeah, we're really happy. Yeah, thank you so much. And guys, have a great Saturday. We will talk to you guys really soon.
Thanks, everyone. God bless. Bye.